It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it's great to have you in studio with us today. Elections are here from Yavapai County. Recorder Leslie Hoffman, welcome back. And Lynn, Constabile, Elections Director. Welcome to studio.
Good morning.
It's been a while since we've had you in.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, 2017, we're wrapping it up.
Yes,
I think every December I have you guys come in and we kind of talk about how 2017, well, the year that we're in, went, and then what we're looking forward to in the next year. Because one thing we know about Yavapai County, and we talk about it every time, is Yavapai County votes.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they're like the best in the state, right?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Always, yeah.
Always.
And that's a huge feather in our cap, too,
Oh.
because a lot of county recorders and elections directors got to be like, how do you guys do it? How do you do it? How do we do this?
Because we outreach like this. We're out there in the community and we reach out. And our voters are very engaged. Yes. We have lots of community groups that are engaged in voting, and they know that it makes a difference.
Let me ask you this. It's kind of an offshoot here. How about the young people? What do we do to encourage young people to Yavapai College and maybe not even high school kids? I don't know. Do we even touch down to the elementary level and middle school?
We don't touch down to elementary.
No, we do the high schools. We have a high school voter education class that's fun. We just did, our last one was Mingus Union.
Okay.
And we go into the class, we talk to them about a little bit about what the office does, over the overview. We go through the voter registration form, explain some of the laws that govern what's on that form, and then we have a mock election. We have them get up and campaign as a cookie. We have ballots made. Lynn programs ballots. We take in a tabulator into the classroom, and they get to vote, and then we do a walk-through history.
Oh, wow.
On getting to vote.
So like the process from start to finish, even behind the scenes then, too.
Yes.
Because it was one thing to go down and vote, or to vote on your ballot and sign your affidavit envelope on the back in your own handwriting, and then send it back. But it's one thing to do that, but it's another thing to see, once the ballot is in your hands, what happens to it next.
Right, right. So they actually see it counted. It's an actual ballot that we would use in our counting.
Neat.
I mean, they're going to see the actual thing.
Yes.
So it's really good. And they vote on their favorite cookie, and then Leslie passes out those cookies.
Right.
Whichever cookie wins. They only get the winning cookie.
Which is great.
And they do complain about that because they didn't vote for that cookie. But that's the one they got.
But
And that's how it works.
When I was a kid, it was always, if you don't vote, don't grab.
Yeah.
That was like, I don't know what the slogan was from. I feel like I saw it on Saturday mornings or something during the cartoons. If you don't vote, don't grab. So that was like a promo to get out there and vote and make your voice be heard. So, well, that's neat. And then college kids as well, or I guess they're at the point now in college where they should be voting.
Yeah, and a lot of them have gone through the high school class, and we also have student poll workers. So we recruit 16 and 17-year-olds to work in the polls every 2 years, and a lot of them will continue to work as college students into adulthood. It gets them interested. And we just had one, Alexa, that was elected to the Prescott City Council. She's 19 years old, and she was a poll worker.
Right. And she had been through our class.
Yes.
She was a student poll worker, and now has gone on in her career.
Now she's an elected official.
God, would that be Prescott's youngest elected council person?
I believe so, and she got the most votes.
Nice.
All of them, yeah.
Start to finish right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really neat. Okay.
Yeah.
So it makes you feel like you're really doing something when
you're seeing the results.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a fun thing to do. We do reach out a lot to our youth.
And we actually have a polling place at Yavapai College. So we've moved into there a couple of years ago. So that also gets them involved, and they see it right there on campus.
And that's why we have the best voter turnout.
We try.
Yeah.
We have a good-sized county.
Yeah.
We're not so big that the voter outreach gets lost, but we're big enough that there's a lot of people engaged, and the people we do talk to, they go out and they repeat what the messages that we give them. I think a lot of it has to do with the size, and they're just excited and engaged.
I think it's funny, so Yavapai County is not a very big county, and then you look at other states and look at their size of their counties, and Arizona's counties are just so huge.
Geographically.
I think it says a lot, though, that we do have great voter turnout in Yavapai County, so that's really neat. Let's move on. 2017, kind of a slow election year, wasn't it?
We did okay.
Okay.
We had our press kit primary and general, and then we did have a few school districts in November that we took care of and did their elections. But the off year, we call it, the odd year is the off year. We do all our training. We get recertified. We work on our procedures manual with the state. We work on legislation. We work on new equipment. It was really slow.
Yeah, it was really slow. Nothing to do, huh? Nothing to do at all. Okay. So this year, in the off time, what was one of the biggest things you had to take care of? I want to get into the legislation part, but I feel like we should do that in the second part, kind of what kind of legislation we'd be talking about. Let's talk about, instead of that, let's go 2018. What kind of elections are we looking at in 2018? And we'll do the legislation after the break.
Okay, so in 2018, right now, we have, we're going to have a countywide election in March.
Okay.
The jail district is going to be on the ballot. Everybody gets to vote on that. It's countywide, so that'll be a vote by mail.
That's the extension of the quarter-cent jail district sales tax.
Extension, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Correct.
And then we don't have anybody for May yet. I think actually we have one little water district that has to run in May, and then we'll have the primary and general in August and November.
Do we know what's going to be on those ballots yet, or do we have to wait and see?
Well,
That's the midterms.
yeah, those are the midterms, like lots of candidates.
Okay.
Lots of cities and towns will be on the primary and general. The governor's race is on there, the Secretary of State, so a lot of the state offices, the legislature will be on there. We'll have Senator Flake's position, U.S. Senate, on there.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and representatives.
A lot more going on next year, especially the latter half of next year.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, not to talk about what you're going to be going with the legislature, but the legislature, they meet in January. So the items they decide and the governor signs off on, some of those go directly into play, but some of them do have to go to a vote of the public. Are those the ones that we see then in the latter half of the year?
We will. We'll see some of those. They actually probably sent some last year as well. So any kind of referred by the legislature questions will be on the general election next year.
So we have to pay attention all year long then. Yeah, because the
Absolutely.
legislative session starts what day? It's in January. I know it's
January
right after the New
2nd.
Year. January 2nd? Is it right off the bat?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they start right away, and then they'll go until
Till they're done.
they're done.
Right.
March, April, May,
Yeah.
usually April, May.
Right.
And then
They try to end early in an election year so that they can get out and campaign.
Right.
They can't collect donations while they're in session.
Okay.
So they do try to end early.
Yeah, so
That's
they
their
try
goal.
to move that along, don't they?
right.
Yeah.
Then anything that's passed, unless it has an emergency clause, then it's 90 days from what they call sine die, the end of the closing of the legislature.
Okay.
And then it goes into effect. Unless there's an emergency clause, then it can go into effect
Immediately.
immediately once signed by the governor.
Okay. All right. Now we can take our break.
Okay.
Yavapai County Recorder Leslie Hoffman in studio today. Yavapai County Elections Director Lynn Constabile. Website is yavapai.us. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice, she's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness. When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking with the Yavapai County Recorder, Leslie Hoffman, and Yavapai County Elections, Lynn Constabile. We were talking on the break that they are not the same person. They do not do the same job, but their jobs are intertwined. Right. Should we talk about that a little bit, maybe, before we get into what you're going to be talking to the legislature about this year?
Sure.
There is a difference between the two of you.
Absolutely, and they're statutory duties. As the recorder, not only am I responsible for the recording of all documents, primarily real estate, it's the voter registration, early voting, and the vote by mail. But then Lynn has a whole, and that's the big picture of what's covered under the recorder's office. Then Lynn's position,
basically, we take in the candidate filing, so we're the filing office. We make up the ballot. We give them to Leslie. She mails them out. She checks the signature. We get them back. We count them, and we give out the results. So it's kind of like a separation of duties and a separation of power.
Right.
Yeah.
Leslie is elected.
And I'm appointed.
Lynn is appointed.
By the Board of Supervisors.
That's why you've never seen Lynn Constabile on the ballot, but you see Leslie Hoffman.
Correct.
Every 2 years? 4 years?
4 years.
Every
I
4
run
years.
on presidential cycle.
That's right, the presidential cycle. That's when Leslie shows up, right? Okay, so we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
You're not the same person. You got two different jobs.
No,
but you're in the same office. If you were to go over to the County Annex building in Prescott, you would find both of you in a very large office, actually, with lots of people working around in there.
Yeah.
I was surprised at just how many people were actually in there. Busy, busy, busy. We came over there and did a live thing with you guys. Well, it's not a live
that
thing,
was
but
fun.
Looking at the voting machines and stuff like that.
Yeah,
on
location.
There was a lot more people there than I thought would be there. So it was great. It was great. All right, so legislation. That session's coming up. It's like less than a month away.
It is.
So what are we going to be talking to legislators about this year?
Well, we have a big bill coming up. The election officials of Arizona and the Recorders Association get together, and they talk about legislation and what we'd like to see fixed or updated in the law, and we have a big update bill. So there's a lot of things in the election law right now that has to do with punch cards, which we haven't used in years, and lever machines, which we haven't used in years. So we want to take all of that out. It just gets confusing, especially to a new director, a new recorder coming on. They look at the law, and there's all this stuff in there that doesn't apply anymore. So we want to do a lot of deleting and updating right now.
How long has it been since we've used those things?
Let's see, punch cards were last used in 2002 in the state. In 2004, everybody went to optical scan. That was the Help America Vote Act after the 2000 election, and the Florida, you remember the hanging chads?
The Bush
So Help America Vote Act gave money to the states to update their equipment away from punch card and to optical scan or something different.
Okay, so who goes through this law and looks at it and says, wow, is it you, Lynn? Have you gone through this and said, wow, this stuff, if we got rid of this entire page,
it wasn't me personally that actually did the draft, but I have looked at the draft and we're giving our opinion as well.
Yeah. We all work together with all the election directors and recorders throughout the state.
How often do you get together?
At least twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah, we meet at least twice a year. We have meetings and we exchange a lot of ideas. We like to R&D, it's called, rob and duplicate from each other.
Duplicate. Okay. All right.
Yeah. We conference all the time. Sometimes weekly we're on conference calls with each other. Or we'll send out, you'll get a note from one of the recorders, an email. Hey, what do you think about? Or how do you do this? I'm reading the legislation and it just doesn't make sense on process.
Yeah.
And so everybody chimes in. Pretty soon there's a conference call, and then it's determined maybe we need to update that legislation or define it or expand it. Another thing that we're looking to expand this year, we have vote centers in Yavapai County. Yuma has vote centers, and more counties are going towards the vote center model. But almost everything in legislation has to do with polling places. So even though we've always treated a vote center like a polling place, we're going to be sure that the laws also apply to a vote center, especially since they're getting so popular.
We have seen tremendous success with the vote center, and
Yes.
it makes complete sense as well, does it not?
Oh,
and
yes.
if folks aren't familiar with what a vote center is, we've only done this for a couple of years. Am I right in saying that?
We started in 2012.
2012. Oh my gosh, time is going by so fast. It's where, okay, so I'm in Cottonwood, but if I work in Sedona, if I go to Sedona, it's election day, I can vote at any polling place in Sedona throughout the day. If I've got a break and I want to vote, I can do it. I don't necessarily have to go to what was on my voter ID card,
Right.
where it told me you have to go to precinct 6 or something like this. You have to show up at this church, and this is the only place you can vote today.
Right.
So I can vote at any polling place
In
as long as
Yavapai
it's
County.
In Yavapai County. That's clear.
Yeah.
So are we looking to make that a statewide thing?
Well, more and more counties are going towards
Yeah.
vote centers. I think they just make sense. They're convenient for the public, and everybody likes them. They are a little hard to judge how many people are going to show up.
I was going to say, that would be kind of the issue for me.
You can't really
yeah.
judge that. You have to make your best guess. So, but the good thing about vote centers is, especially like Prescott Valley has 3 vote centers. If you're in line at one and there's no lines at the other, you could just go 5 minutes and go to another one and not wait in line.
Gotcha.
So you
there
have
is
your
that,
choice.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to get that word out throughout the days as well, too, right? Say, well, this one over here on the east side at such and such locations got 20 people in line, but this one over here has nobody in line. So
We have an app for that.
Oh, there we go. All right, so you got an app for that. So I could be standing in line and pull up my app and say, oh, wow, okay, so if I go over,
Yes.
Yeah, we worked with Clean Elections, the Clean Elections Association, and they developed an app, and we call in with our wait times every hour, and they update them. So if it's green, that's the one you want to go to. If it's red, they probably have a line.
We're going to talk about this again next year then when we do this. Yeah, for sure.
Isn't that awesome?
Are we going to have vote centers? Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
next
we will.
next
August,
fall.
August and November.
Fall elections
Yes.
will, because it's a statewide election, so therefore we have to have the polling places, vote centers.
Unless our legislation goes through.
Right. That's another thing that we're really working towards is ballot by mail, vote by mail, and have it permissive for each county, determined by a board of directors. Then all of the elections could be held. The vote by mail.
Vote by mail.
Yes.
And again, we're looking at the convenience for the voter and the encouragement of getting the vote taken care of.
And how we're thinking of setting it up is maybe still having the vote centers open, but having them just be ballot replacement sites. So you would get your ballot in the mail, but you could still go and drop it off at a ballot replacement site. And if you made a mistake on it, you could get a replacement ballot.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. So if I have my ballot and I, for some reason, did something wrong on it, that person at that center could look at it and say, wow, you know what? This is not going to go.
Well, they wouldn't look at your ballot.
They wouldn't look at the ballot. Okay, but what if you asked them about it and said, hey, I've done this. I wanted to vote here, but I did this. I scribbled this
They'll
out.
spoil it for you.
They'll spoil the ballot for me.
And they'll give you another one. And that works now, too. If you go to a vote center to vote and you make a mistake, you can spoil it.
Right.
You can have up to 3 ballots.
Okay.
Yeah, by law. You can only one counts.
Yeah.
But you can have 3.
Up to 3.
Up to 3.
Okay. But we want to make sure that people fill them out right, and then again, sign that affidavit envelope in your own handwriting.
Yes.
The back of the affidavit. We'll take another break. Yavapai County Recorder Leslie Hoffman and Yavapai County Elections Director Lynn Constabile in studio. Website is yavapai.us. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes. Hey, it's Bruno Mars. Ed Sheeran. What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber. You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left in the program. Lynn, Constabile, and Leslie Hoffman in studio today from Yavapai County Elections and the Recorder's Office. Yavapai.us is the website. Bottom right-hand corner is all the election information right down there. I love that, too, that you guys are on the front page. Because it's got to be one of the more busier departments, I would think, of the county as well. Yeah. We want to talk a little bit about, you hear me do the stories, and it's because they've sent me the information, and I always mark it on my calendar. If it's Election day is always a Tuesday. So if the Thursday prior to that, you'll notice the week leading up to the election, on the Monday prior to the election, I'll be talking about how get those ballots mailed back or drop them off in person at the special election boxes. They're white, correct?
They're white.
They are white special election boxes.
There's 10 of them.
10 of them around the county. As we get to Thursday, you start hearing me say, don't mail that ballot back. And I will read it Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Don't mail it back, don't mail it back. It's got to be dropped off in person because it may not make it back to them in time in order to count. And postmarks do not count in elections. You have to have them by 7 p.m. election day.
That's it.
Has to be in.
Yeah.
Correct.
It can be in the box. We check those boxes and we lock them at 7 o'clock on election day.
Yes.
So it can be in the box and that is considered cast.
Okay. So it has to be at that point in time. Vote by mail.
Yes.
You're saying there's maybe some confusion about that, and we want to kind of change the thought process on that.
Right. It's a ballot by mail. If you get your ballot, you have a lot of different choices on how you want to vote it. You can vote it and mail it back to us. You can come into our office. We have early voting. Starts 27 days before every election. A lot of people still like to come in. Or you can drop it at a drop box. If we have vote centers, if it's vote centers elections, you can take it in on election day. You don't stand in line. You can go right in, hand them your affidavit envelope, signed affidavit envelope, and do it there. So you're getting your ballot by mail, but you have a lot of choices on how to return it.
Okay. And it's better to
use the drop box.
Use the drop box because it's saving taxpayer money.
A lot of taxpayer money.
How much did it save this year?
Just out of the one drop box over on the Prescott side, it was $3,300 in postage. It's very popular over there. So we get a discount on the outgoing mail, but on the coming back, that's full price coming back.
Maybe next year I need to be more specific as to where the drop boxes are. You said there's 10 of them across the county.
Of them, yeah.
And I believe what I see is they're outside all city and town halls.
And we also have one on the Camp Verde Reservation.
Camp Verde Reservation. They're outside the Cottonwood Annex, as well as they're right below your office over in the Prescott Annex building. And they're drive up.
Yes.
Except for one. But most of the time, I used to use the Cottonwood Annex when you just drive up and roll your window down and off it goes. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Real convenient.
So we want people to use those and utilize those. Okay. How was the? I'm always curious. I'm just curious because I make sure I say it every time because you guys say it every time, especially in the press release. Sign the affidavit envelope. Are we getting better at that? Because I know if we miss that, that's a problem.
Yes.
Yeah. We have to call. So we do make a lot of phone calls and tell people they need to come in and sign, or if their signature has changed. A lot of times we only have MVD signature to check, and it's 20 years old, and your signature changes over time. So we do check every single one.
Yes.
Leslie does, not me.
Leslie does. You get to check all those, huh? Okay, so I have to make sure I sign that in my own handwriting. It's got to be my handwriting. I can't hand it to you. Hey, Lynn, would you mind dropping this off for me? And then, oh, geez, you forgot to sign the bag. So make sure you do it with your own handwriting.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Anything else we want to talk about? I mean, we've covered quite a bit of stuff. It's going to be a busy year next year.
Yes.
Spring will be a little bit slower, but then when fall hits, and I don't want to make it sound like it's going to be slow for you guys. I know you're always busy, but not a whole lot of elections taking place to spring, but fall.
No, we have the
really
big
gonna pick
election
up.
in the March.
March.
So we'll be
the
sending
jail
out.
district. Yeah, that will
Yeah.
be a big election.
Leslie will be mailing out almost 140,000 ballots.
Okay.
That'll be the most we've ever mailed out.
I know I've got the county coming in January, and I think in February, twice to kind of talk about the jail district sales tax extension.
Yeah.
Because we need it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be plenty busy.
Yeah.
All right, Leslie. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah, Lynn, I can reach you.
Oh, always a pleasure. We like to come
it was.
over.
Thank you so much for coming in. It's always great. So we'll be talking to you a lot in the new year.
Yes.
And you're not shy because you're always talking to me as well. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for watching and listening. This is Countywide. We'll talk to you again next time.